Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and cornbread presented by Bolen Media. I am Ross Bolen here today with producer Kade Orris as Barrett is out on paternity leave, and we are going to discuss and review one of the best films of 2025 thus far, Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan, written and directed by Ryan Coogler. Kade, say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Producer Kade, for those of you who are not familiar with his game, is a decade younger than me, bringing some representation for the younger generation today. And he saw Sinners twice in theaters, and then once more yesterday on demand.
Yep, and halfway through my fourth rewatch now. So, big fan of this film, I'd say.
Seen it many, many times.
Yeah, saw it once in IMAX. Got the full IMAX experience.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And then once at Alamo?
Yeah. Yep.
In a regular
theater, yeah.
Theater?
Yep.
I bought Sinners twice at home, once on Amazon Prime and once on Apple Movies to try and match Kade, and then he outdid me by watching it a third and another half time. It was actually an accident. I didn't mean to buy it on both platforms, but I did. Kade also has an Alamo Drafthouse season pass. He's one of us. And we're happy to have him stepping up today, so give a big round of applause for Kade wherever you're listening, whether it be in the office or the car. Just let go of the steering wheel and clap. First, let's talk about the man who made this movie, Ryan Coogler. The Coog wrote, directed, and produced Sinners, further solidifying himself as one of the best young creatives currently working in Hollywood. He's 39 years old, a year older than me, spring chicken, basically a kid. He also directed Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the first Creed movie. He also wrote both Black Panther movies, the first Creed movie, and the third Creed movie. I don't know. I guess they got another writer for the second Creed movie.
I guess so, yeah. And just to note, Michael B. Jordan is in all these films as well.
Yeah, they're kind of a partnership at this point, which you notice happening more and more in Hollywood these days. You know, like Christopher Nolan has his guys.
Yeah.
Scorsese has his guys.
Tarantino has his guys.
Yeah, they like to work. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it, because like if you're Coogler and you develop a relationship with Michael B. Jordan, who's one of the best in the game, then yeah, you're going to use him in all your stuff.
Their partnership started even before Black Panther. Like Ryan Coogler's directorial debut was called Fruitvale Station, also starring Michael B. Jordan. It's a good movie, but it's not a fun one. It's very, very sad and tragic. So, but it's still good. I'd recommend it if you want to get into that Coogler rabbit hole.
Have you seen the Creed movies?
Yep, seen all the Creed movies.
That's a trilogy I have not partaken in that I need to get back to. I don't know why. I was never drawn to like Rocky, and I've seen the first Rocky,
right?
Because I feel like it's a requirement, but I don't know. I never got brought in, and now honestly, after seeing Sinners,
you might have to buy in now.
I feel obligated.
Check it out.
I need to go back. I've also never seen Black Panther.
Wow, you really misstepping here.
Deeply racist.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I know. I need to get it together. But yeah. So pretty much all I knew about this movie, Sinners, going in, was that Michael B. Jordan was playing two different characters, which I now know are twins, the Smokestack twins as they're known. And he crushes this, man. He's very, very talented, and he's been great his whole career. Crazy career Michael B. Jordan has had, because he was actually in like one scene of The Sopranos for about 5 seconds.
What scene was
It's a flashback to Tony as a child being chased by 3 black kids in the neighborhood.
And one of them
and the kid in the middle
Michael B. Jordan.
is Michael B. Jordan.
Wow.
I think he's like 12 years old.
Yeah.
Then he went on and really kicked off his career at 14 years old in The Wire, widely regarded as one of the greatest television shows ever made, as Wallace, the character he played, one of the most tragic characters in the entire show, big story arc in the first season of The Wire. Then Michael B. Jordan went on to do like a ton of TV, bunch of random stuff. You can go look on his IMDb. I don't want to say he like fell off the map, but like it was he didn't. There was a gap between The Wire and his rise to A-list all-time actor.
Yeah, like after The Wire, he was like struggling to find work there for a while. I remember
he did some video game voice acting. He was in like Gears of War 3. Then he really blew up with the Creed movies and Fantastic Four and Black Panther.
I don't know if Fantastic Four was a huge success, but
I don't think it was, but he was in it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was like a bit, it was it was supposed to be a big blockbuster. And just as a note, you don't see a whole lot of Michael B. Jordan between his projects. Like, you've seen him a lot lately because he's done press for Sinners. But between movies, he kind of goes off the grid. And I saw a clip recently where he explained why, where apparently Denzel Washington, who everyone is familiar with, advised him to stay off social media because if people can see you all day, every day on social media, why would they pay to go and see you on the weekend in your movies? And I thought that was really interesting just because it puts Michael B. Jordan in more of like an old school Hollywood strategy. Obviously, Denzel is an old school Hollywood guy, you know, and in the new age of Hollywood, I feel like the bulk majority of these stars all have social media and they're always doing shit.
Yeah, gotta get that following, so then they'll go and see you in the movies. Yeah.
That whole thing. So it's just a different angle, and it's one that, frankly, I respect more because as somebody who's had to spend, the first 15 years of their career on social media every day, it's a hellhole. So
it's not a fun place to be.
It's a lot cooler to me that he is a dude who does he's built his value and his brand in a different way than is typical in this day and age. It's more old school. And I thought it was a cool story that Denzel Washington sort of put him on that path. And just to compare it to another huge, huge star who's had a ton of success over the course of his long career, like Leonardo DiCaprio is a little bit like this. He doesn't fuck with the media much unless he's promoting a project, doing a press tour. He's off on a yacht somewhere with 25-year-old models or sub-25-year-old models. When they turn 25, he stereotypically dumps them. So, yeah. Got to give Michael B. Jordan sort of the MVP of Sinners. He's doing double work,
right?
And he's fantastic as both characters, and the subtle differences between Stack and Smoke are awesome. But the entire cast is fantastic. It's one of the things that makes this movie so good and so rewatchable, I think. Like, there's a reason Kade is not alone in this. You've seen it 3.5 times, but a lot of people went back to the theater to see this movie again for a variety of reasons, some of which we'll touch on later. But in large part, my belief is that the entire cast being as strong as it is what gives it some of that rewatchability. You got Delta Slim, great character.
Underrated. Probably like my sixth man of the movie.
Definitely.
Like he's that comic relief, which you need in a horror movie.
You do.
And he brings that levity to it. So I really like that.
Delroy Lindo is the actor who played Delta Slim, and that is what Kade just outlined is the reason I name him first. Sixth man of the movie. Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, played by Miles Caton, Caton. This dude's voice stuck with me. I watched it for the first time yesterday. And that depth in his voice
got deep voice.
It's crazy, man. And I haven't looked into this. It made me wonder if it's like his actual authentic singing voice or they gave it any, special effects gusto.
I want to say it's all
I think
all
it's
natural.
just him, though, dude.
And I want to say this was his first major acting role, too.
Wow. Yeah, I've never seen him before. Not familiar with his game.
Not familiar with his game.
But he crushed it.
Yeah.
He crushed it. Preacher Boy is awesome. He's not the main character of the movie, but he's kind of the setup and the follow-through.
Yeah. Yeah, you expect the majority of the story is about the Stack twins, but like Sammy is a big part of this movie too, which I wasn't like expecting going into it.
Especially not really knowing about him.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's I guess you could argue he's like the second main character behind the Stackhouse twins. You got Annie, played by Wunmi Mosaku, who is sort of the Louisiana Bayou voodoo lady.
Right.
Which one of the twins is it?
Smoke.
Smoke.
Yeah, that's Smoke's girl.
Had a baby with at one point.
Right.
And I'll leave it at that because we're in the spoiler-free zone of our review at the moment. We'll get into details in a bit after an ad break where we will have spoilers and we will warn you before that. But Annie was another fantastic character. Ruthie played by Andreen Ward Hammond, was awesome.
Who's Ruthie?
Ruthie is it's a great question, Cade. let me find an answer for you.
Are you thinking?
Did I write the wrong name?
Great.
Oh, it's Sammy's mom, so I guess she's a small character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why we didn't know who she was. She's in like 2 scenes. Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld, who just married Bills quarterback Josh Allen, is one of the main characters. We do know who she is.
Yeah, familiar with her game.
Yes. Perline, played by Perline, played by Jamie Lawson. Hot character.
Yeah.
Horny character.
Very horny, yeah.
Great pipes on her as well.
Yep.
She can sing. She can move. She was highly entertaining. You got a whitey here, Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, one of the few white characters in the movie, but a great character.
Yeah.
Bad guy. Great character, though. And then Cornbread, played by Omar Miller, who, what is he from, man? Where do I know this dude
8
from?
Mile.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Wow.
And probably other things.
I mean, I'm sure he's in a ton of other stuff, but like...
That's probably what you recognize him from.
Yeah, okay, he was a character on Ballers as well.
Oh, yeah, he was like one of the O-linemen that The Rock was managing.
And he was in Get Rich or Die Trying in 2005, which I did not see.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Great album, though. Anyway, every character is fantastic. Sinners is based in the Jim Crow South in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It takes place technically 2 days, October 15th and October 16th, 1932. We start out on the 16th, and then you flash back to the 15th. Takes a lot of inspiration from the likes of Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, was one of the things that struck me as I was watching it. It's basically like if you took Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn and mashed it together with like Inglourious Bastards. It has that kind of, like, the final scene of the film, well, I guess not the very final scene, the final smokestack twin scene gave me serious Inglourious Bastards vibes.
Wasn't Tarantino also in From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct it or anything.
Rodriguez did, but they have a weird relationship, those two.
I've never heard of Robert Rodriguez before.
Really?
Or maybe I have, but I just never registered for me.
They did that like double feature that came out.
He did Spy Kids. Oh, okay. I have heard of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He did Spy Kids and Machete.
He's probably the reason that insanely deep line that's delivered by Steve Buscemi is in Spy Kids.
Probably, yeah.
Very famous director, though, yeah. So it kind of made me think, like, if you're familiar with Quentin Tarantino, you know he has said some, I don't know how to put it, questionable things regarding race.
Sure, yeah.
Over the course of his career. I want to say he was raised in a black neighborhood and something like that.
Yeah.
But this is like if Tarantino was actually black instead of just pretending to be so he can say the N-word in his movies. That was kind of the vibe that Sinners gave me. And I mean that as a compliment to Coogler, too. Like, Tarantino is an all-time great. And Coogler is on the path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Sinners is kind of a tragic story, in a way. Really focuses on giving a voice to the Black South. The entire film is really driven by music and soul. I saw you had the soundtrack pulled up on your computer earlier.
I did, yeah.
I have not dove into that yet.
The soundtrack is awesome. I mean, like, all the songs in the movie are fantastic. And
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. And then they got so they have all the songs from the movie on the soundtrack, and then they have a couple other, like, songs from, like, Don Toliver, James Blake, Rod Wave.
Oh, no
Haley
shit.
Steinfeld has a song, too.
What?
So, yeah. So they got a bunch of other, like, stuff on there, but, like, after I watched the movie, like, I was jamming that album for a little bit.
The music in the movie goes very, very hard. It is awesome and kind of powers the entire thing. It's full of cinematic parallels and little details, of which you'll almost certainly miss some on your first watch through. Twitter was really helpful with this. Just to be honest, I had seen some of the parallels in tweets prior to this, prior to my first watch through, and I, actively tried to avoid them until I was done. And then after I watched the movie, I went back through Twitter. You can just like search Sinners, and it pulls up like the top tweets about the movie.
Yeah.
And you can go through those, and there's a ton of cool little detail. But it's another reason I think people were so hyped to get back to the theater and see this thing for a second time once you realize how layered and detailed it is. Like when it ended, and there were moments through in my first watch where I was like, I know I just missed something there. Or there was like another element there that I could have pulled from that. Maybe some of which Kade can help us out with when we get to our spoiler part of the review, because you've seen it fucking 3.5 times. But yeah, it's classified as horror.
Yeah.
A horror movie. But, and I mean no offense to the horror genre, it elevates itself beyond that. Like, it's not like a cheap thrill horror movie.
No, they're not just like throwing jump scares at you just for the sake of trying to scare you. It's way more than that.
There's depth and nuance to it that a lot of horror movies fail to accomplish. There are scary parts.
Yeah.
But I don't think most people would consider this to be like a scary movie.
No. And like, I don't do well with scary movies.
Yeah, you
like,
are not a horror guy.
I'm not a horror movie person, like, really at all. I'm trying to get more into it. But like, I wasn't like, yeah, there's like some scary parts, but like, it wasn't like overwhelming where like it's going to keep me up at night and give me nightmares. And
I guess the other thing I knew about this going in, other than Michael B. Jordan playing 2 roles, was that it was a vampire movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a spoiler at this point, because if you've somehow avoided that information, then props to you, sir or ma'am. But yeah, it's technically a horror movie. It's technically a vampire movie, but to me, I don't even know if it's fair to just stick it in that category. Now, that being said, as of me speaking today, it's the 6th highest grossing horror movie of all time. And the list is impressive.
Yeah.
Number 1 is It from 2017. Number 2 is Jaws from 1975. Number 3 is It Chapter 2 from 2019, which, just to be clear, It was pre-existing IP.
Right.
These were reboots, right? So you can almost take those 2 out of there if you wanted to. The Exorcist, 1973. The Nun, 2018. And then Sinners, 2025. Now, if you only count domestic box office, it's actually number 3 behind It and Jaws. And it's likely to pass Jaws because it is right behind it. And it's still in theaters. You can still go see it right now.
In this day and age where they're pulling movies like after 2 weeks.
Yes, and it's nice that it's on demand at home, and you can either rent. I think you can rent it for like $19.99 or buy it for $24.99. And if you give me those 2 options,
so that's why you bought it.
I'm always gonna buy. It's $5, man. Yeah. Well, and just to give some clarity there, I bought it down in my living room on Amazon. Okay, because my wife is logged into her Apple movies on that TV for some reason. I can't figure out why. But I didn't want to buy it on Apple Movies and then not have access to it in my Apple Movies library, where I normally watch movies in my Apple Movies libraries in my bed. And the upstairs TV is logged into mine so that I can do that. So I bought it downstairs on Amazon, but then when I went upstairs to continue watching it and I pulled up my Amazon, for some reason I couldn't find it. So I was just like, screw it.
Fuck it.
Yeah. So I think I spent like $50 on this movie already. But yeah, so if you take, like, again, if you only count domestic box office, it's number 3 behind It, which is a remake, and Jaws, and it's going to pass Jaws. If you don't count It because It is a remake, then it ends up being like potentially the highest grossing original horror movie in American history, which is crazy. Really crazy. Jaws has been out for fucking 40 plus years, man. I can't do math that well.
50 years.
50 years.
Yep. 50-year anniversary.
Wow. Look at you. Sinners spends, it's the first like 45 minutes or so is getting to know all the characters. You get introduced to almost every character in that first 45 minutes. And you kind of get the setup, which we'll get into in our spoiler review. And then the second half of the movie just kind of descends into madness. It's where all like the action takes place.
Honestly, like those, I love the first 45 minutes just because like it's all the setup and like, you're getting to know all these characters and their relationships and stuff. And I think it just helps elevate the movie more. You care about every single one of these characters.
Yeah, all the tone is set in the first 45 minutes. The music really kicks off in the first 45 minutes. You're getting the vibe.
Yeah, and like the town feels very lived in,
very alive.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah,
I think do we go to more than one town in the beginning when he's like recruiting the team, basically? Or is it all in Clarksdale?
I think it's all in Clarksdale.
Okay.
Or maybe they might be like outside of Clarksdale, but not in like a whole nother town. Like
not
I feel like Clarksdale, yeah.
Okay,
like they're in like
right.
the downtown area.
Right. Now one of the things going into Sinners that I expected was horniness.
Okay, I was not expecting, or like it wasn't really like on the top of my mind.
Yeah, you mean you watched it and you didn't take that away as one of the main things?
Oh no, I did after, but like going in, I wasn't like, oh, this movie's gonna be super
so horny.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I obviously, it's been in theaters for a month or whatever now. So I had seen a lot of commentary on it, and one of the things that people kept commenting on was how horny it was.
Yeah.
And so in watching it, to be honest, I didn't really feel that way. There are a couple of scenes that are hot.
Yeah.
But like I didn't think that was like an overriding theme of the movie. It was like horniness, and so I was, to be honest, I was a little let down because I thought it was going to be hornier than it even was. Now I'm not trying to take anything away from the film. I'm just saying that there was sort of an expectation for sexuality that was set through Twitter that I mean, I just built it up too much in my head. I was like, oh, this is going to be nonstop fucking, and it really wasn't. So. We obviously both liked it. You obviously liked it a lot.
Yeah.
To give it a rating, to close out our spoiler-free review here, and this is on, again, I'm not even really rating this as like a horror. I'm on the scale of all the movies I've ever seen out of 5 stars, I give it a 4. And that is in part because the build-up, the hype around it, that I got through social media, like the people have been ranting and raving about this movie for weeks and weeks and weeks. So the expectation for me was pretty freaking high.
Yeah.
Like I knew this was a winner going in. So it wasn't a surprise to me. Like I knew it was going to be good. I've got a good eye reading social media because of doing this podcast for almost a decade now. Like I can typically tell quality based on people's reactions. And so I knew it was going to be good. I had very high expectations that it almost delivered on, and 4 out of 5 is a damn good grade.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie that I would recommend to anyone. And you don't have to be a horror fan. And if you're one of these people that cannot do horror movies, like my wife, she can't do scary movies, you can do this movie.
Yeah. Even like the horror, like in the violent scenes, they're not.
It's not going to scar you.
No.
This is not going to like leave you haunted for weeks and weeks on end.
They do a good job of like taming those moments in some ways.
Yeah.
But do you think it would have been higher for you if you didn't, like if you knew like this movie was coming out?
Yeah, I think if I saw it day one in theaters with no further feedback, it would probably be more like a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
So I the game is the game. It lost a half star because of my job, basically. But man, it's good shit.
It's really good shit. Really good shit.
Great original shit, which is what you want.
Yeah, not too many of those right now.
What is it for you? 4.5?
I gave it a 5.
A full 5.
I gave it a full 5.
Wow.
Again, like I just love Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. They work great together. I've rewatched it now 3.5 times. Like
you'll probably finish out that back half after we finish recording today because we'll have it on in the living room at the office.
But yeah, man, it's just like a movie like I could see myself going back to like time and time again. Like it could be like in a weird way, it's like could be a comfort movie for me.
Absolutely, dude. So what was the theater experience like? Well, first of all, were you watching it at a normal movie time, or were you there in the middle of the fucking day like a weirdo?
Oh, no, I went at like 7:30,
okay,
like at night on like a. So I think I saw it opening night, like on that Thursday.
That was the IMAX one?
No, that was the Alamo.
Okay.
And then the IMAX was like a few weeks later, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, it was a fun experience. Like people were laughing at the funny moments and getting scared at the scary moments. But it wasn't like I was just like a normal.
Wasn't the rowdiest theater experience you've ever had?
No.
I've seen a lot said about how this is a really fun movie to see in theaters, and having watched it at home, I was sort of bummed for myself. That's another thing that might have cost me a little bit in terms of ratings. Like, you need to go see this in the movie theater if you can,
and you still can.
You still can. I mean,
I know, for you,
in my
it's
case,
more
it's
difficult.
it's like I got to get a babysitter and all that. It's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
But this is a great movie to see in theaters, especially because of the music, the sound, the vibe, and the energy. It was watching it by myself. I was like, shit. I wish I was with more people. Like,
and like seeing it in IMAX was crazy because it's just like more amplified.
Oh my god, yeah.
And like the screen is fucking huge. That was like my first IMAX experience in I don't know how long. Like You don't
go to IMAX.
I don't go to IMAX. Yeah, just because it's like, what more am I getting out of this? But
which IMAX did you hit?
The AMC.
Okay, so I think we only have 2 in Austin.
Yeah, well, I tried to go to the other one, and I ended up not being able to go, and they're just like, sorry about you. We're going to take your money.
That's when you didn't get your refund?
Yeah.
The Bob Bullock?
Yeah.
What was I? We can talk about this part now in our spoiler-free review. The aspect ratio.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I've ever watched a movie where this happens, where the aspect ratio changes, like scene to scene in some cases, multiple times throughout the movie. And I thought I was tripping the first time it happened. I thought I'd like hit a button on the remote. I literally paused it and was like, what the fuck did I just do? I was like going into settings and seeing if I had jacked something up. Because suddenly my full television was occupied instead of being, the black bars on the top and the bottom.
General widescreen, yeah.
Yeah, so I was so fucking confused. And I'm pretty sure there's reasoning for this.
Yeah, for specific scenes, like, I remember, like, Ryan Coogler was talking about, like, why he changed it, but I don't, like, remember what he said exactly. But, yeah, there were specific scenes he wanted in, like, that's full screen aspect ratio.
Yeah, I just didn't even know you were allowed to do that. I had
Dude,
I think you should leave meme. Like, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you're not gonna see a Marvel movie doing that.
It was sick though. I liked it. It was cool. Kind of it keeps your focus a little bit more. It just gives you one more thing to kind of keep your eye on. So
yeah. I felt like for like those scenes where like it did go to the full screen, like it like locked you in more.
Yeah,
because you knew like something like big was about to happen. It felt like.
Yeah, so he filmed this on film.
Yeah,
it's not digital.
The 70 millimeter IMAX,
and then pivoted to like 35 millimeter at some point. I don't know, but if you can go, it's the first film to be shot at the 2.761 aspect ratio. Apparently, I don't know what that means. I'm not a film guy like that, but
I'm not either. But like Ryan Coogler has a video that you can look up, and he like explains the different aspect ratios, the different film strips they used, and like he goes into all of it. It's like a 10-minute video where he just like explains everything, and that's what got me to want to go see it in IMAX because he did this video, and like he's obviously very passionate about it. So I'm like, all right, he cares, so I'm gonna support him because of that.
Yeah, I've got this video pulled up, but my computer sucks. It looks like the video is on Kodak.
Yeah,
not the rapper. Kodak, the camera.
The camera, yeah.
Their YouTube channel. It's called Aspect Ratios with Sinners director Ryan Coogler. And I believe that is the video you are referring to.
Yeah, that's a video.
So if you want to watch that and get the Coog Man's full explanation, get in there. Anything else you want to add to the spoiler-free part of our review before we dive into the details here?
No, I think I'm good right now.
Summer is here. More sun, more light. Bad for the vampires. More time to do all the things that make summer so special, though. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer, spending hours cooking inside. That's where today's sponsor, Factor, comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day sun up to sundown. With nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts, Factor has your whole day covered. I've been eating Factor for years now, and I love it. If you're like me, There are some days you get home from work or school or whatever, and you just want to be able to plop down on the couch, watch a movie or the next episode of your favorite TV show without having to worry about what's for dinner. Factor takes this dream and makes it a reality with the best meals delivered straight to your door. So many good options, so much good food. They got great smoothies and juices and such as well. I've tried a lot of different meal delivery services. Factor is far and away the best. Enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. Get started at factormeals.com/OCC50off and use code OCC50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code OCC50off at factormeals.com/OCC50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/OCC50off. You can see the details and a link in the description of this episode. Factor Meals, thank you for being a sponsor of our show. Love me some Factor. Okay, now we're going to get into spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie, get out. Go buy your tickets, go see it, or hit it on demand. Just make sure you buy it on both Amazon and Apple if you want to be like me. The opening monologue kind of starts the tone. There's like this voiceover, right, that says, there are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true that it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future. In ancient Ireland, they were called Fili. In Choctaw land, they were called firekeepers. And in West Africa, they're called Creots. This gift can bring healing to their communities, but it also attracts evil. And you're like, what? It's a cool premise, though. Like, where you don't really have any understanding of what exactly is being explained to you. The movie obviously gets to a point where you're like, holy shit, here it is. This is what they were talking about in that beginning.
Right.
But yeah. It's a good hook, man. Like, I like something like this at the beginning of a film.
An open monologue, yeah.
Get me locked the fuck in, you know? And that worked. This worked really well on me. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Like we said earlier, the movie starts at the end, and then it flashes back to the beginning of the story, which is a tactic that like Tarantino has used a lot throughout the course. And also Christopher Nolan as well. These guys love to do movies out of order. Yeah,
showing the end first, and then going back to the beginning, and then showing you how we got to that point.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my wife and I watched the other day where it was even more ridiculous than that. And if you've seen like Memento, that one's crazy. It's so fucking confusing, dude.
Pulp Fiction, also kind of like all over the place.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I could remember what my wife and I were watching. But it's one where it goes like, it starts at the end, then goes to the middle. Oh, it was The Prestige. Christopher Nolan's The Prestige.
That's also, yeah.
Starts at the end, goes to the fucking middle, and then goes back to the beginning. And you're like, what the hell is happening? I literally, the first time I watched, I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. Movie, yeah. But the first time I watched it, I left so confused about the first half hour in particular, because it bounces back and forth and all over, and it's just so confused. Anyway, Sinners is not like that.
No, it's pretty straightforward after that.
You can grasp that you have just gone from the end back to the beginning pretty quickly. But yeah, the end that we start at is Sammy, a.k.a. Preacher Boy, driving up to a church. He's covered in blood.
Yep.
He's got like a gnarly
claw
scratches down
face,
the side of his face. He's holding just the end of a guitar. The end? Does a guitar have an end?
The guitar handle?
The handle. Yeah. Yeah, with the, the skinny part of the guitar.
Yeah.
The fat part's gone. We'll put it in those terms. He walks into the church, which is in the middle of a service, that immediately stops because clearly this is a distracting.
Yeah.
You bust in the door with a fucking gnarly monster scratch down the side of your face and a half a guitar. His dad is the preacher who embraces him, while we see as he's walking towards his dad, there's like these flashes to the gnarly shit that we are at the moment completely unaware of. But they give it again tone setting. You're like, oh, some terrifying
shit
bad
shit's gonna happen.
Bad shit is gonna happen here.
This got me a little bit when the first time I watched it, because it was just like so loud, and they just like flash like these like violent scenes. I'm like, oh shit! But
it's like somebody getting like their throat slit.
Yeah,
like, it's not enough for you to even get that like, oh, there are gonna be vampires.
Yeah,
like it's very well done. How they're so quick. It's so subliminal. It's just like dark, violent shit is going to happen.
Just right in your face really quick.
Yeah. His dad asks him to drop the guitar. We see the claw marks on his face. then we go to a black screen that says 1 day earlier, which was just I was kind of surprised, honestly, because like to put a movie in sort of a 24-hour or 48-hour block like that is more succinct than I think I'm used to. Like, I don't know, it's a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get into the plot that like these two twins are gonna build out, their own juke and a juke joint, like I was like, how are they gonna do this in 1 day? It ends up being more straightforward than I initially thought it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a tight story. It takes place in this very small window here. We get introduced to Michael B. Jordan, his two characters, Smoke and Stack, and they actually drop their real like government names in the movie.
For Stack, I know they do. I don't know if they do for
one of them is Elias.
Elias Moore.
Yeah.
But I don't know Smoke's first name.
Oh,
I don't know. Well,
it's unimportant.
Yeah.
To the plot.
Yeah, because you just know him as Smoke or
It's
Stack.
just kind of a cool detail that at one point they throw out Elias Moore, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thought we were just calling them by their nicknames here.
Yep.
But it opens with the twins buying this old mill along with the equipment and the land it's standing on from like a fat white man who says the Klan doesn't exist no more. I had a good feeling when this guy said that the Klan was going to be involved and that he was probably part of it. He ends up being like...
So you like knew like they're going to play some role like at some point.
Yeah, because of the way that scene unfolds when they're like... They comment on the fact that the floor has been cleaned.
Or no, it hasn't been cleaned.
Maybe.
I think, yeah.
One where the floor gets brought up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay... bad shit has happened in this room, probably.
Yeah.
It ends up being a slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
like that's where they were murdering people.
Yeah.
And that fat fuck, he just had all the Klan vibes.
Yeah, he was calling them boys and stuff.
He's like, oh, you don't mean nothing by it. It's just how we talk down here. I was like, okay. All right. And then at the end, it's explained that he's actually like the grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan in that area or whatever. So he's like literally the big bad, the head shitty KKK guy. But they buy this thing. They seem to be well off, by the way.
Yeah. They're grown men with grown man money.
Yeah.
And grown man bullets, too.
And grown man bullets.
In case you want to fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Yeah, but they got flashy suits on, nice looking suits, cool fucking hats.
Yep.
Smoke wears a blue hat, Stack wears a red hat, so you can differentiate between it, which is helpful at first because they literally look almost exactly the same.
Right.
Fat Whitey asks them if they're twins, and
He's
they're like,
nah, we're cousins.
Nah, we're cousins. But they are twins. Like, at first I was like, wait, no way, they got to be twins, right? I think they were just fucking with this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you get the feeling they've got money from somewhere, which we obviously find out is because they were in Chicago. It sounds like working with Al Capone.
Yeah.
And then at one point you get the detail, which I love. I love this detail when you get it.
They kind of like sprinkle in like the little details about their past like throughout the film, which I loved. Yeah.
At one point it's like they've got Irish beer.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the fuck did they get Irish beer? That's one of the ways they convinced Delta Slim to come with them.
It's like we got that Irish beer for you.
He's a raging alcoholic. But I was like, where'd they get the Irish beer? And what you end up finding out is that they were robbing the Chicago Italians of their wine.
Yep.
And the Irish of their beer, and then letting them blame each other.
Yeah, they got out of town once they like pulled off
this heist.
The heist, yeah, and then they just letting them be like, oh, the Irish stole from the Italians, yeah,
and vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, they created a gang war in Chicago and then got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
They also make a note like Sammy asks them about like what it's like in Chicago. He heard there's no Jim Crow there. And they really make it a point to be like, nah, Chicago is just like here, but with big, tall-ass buildings.
Yeah.
And just giving a lot of historical context to what it was like in the United States, regardless of if you were North or South, for black people at this point in American history. And there's like an ominous tone to when they get into this whole like Capone, where'd the beer and the wine and the money for the juke come from. There's like multiple warnings from people being like, well, when they figure out what y'all did, like they're going to come down here for that ass.
Right.
And so that's obviously not the way it plays out, but it does give more of that like ominous tone to the story overall, that like this isn't going to be a happy ending.
Yeah. And they also like, there's also like a lot of talks about like the money like that they have, or like they're gonna run out soon, because like people are paying with the
currency becomes a big piece of the story once the juke is up and running.
Yeah.
Because they've got people who are paying with essentially like I don't remember what it's called, like crop sharing wages or whatever. They have their own money.
Yeah.
Down
it's
south.
Not just like regular ass dollar bills and stuff.
They got their own money that black people are using within their community, right? Because they don't have access to the level of like dollars that white people do. And up north, where these dudes, pulled off this robbery or multiple robberies, they were stealing dollars, and they're trying to get. It kind of becomes a point of contention between the twins. Yeah, one of them has more respect for the local currency than the other, who just wants dollars. You get a little bit of backstory on the Smokestack twins, where like they killed their own dad.
Yep.
Because he knocked out Stack, and then like when Stack came to, Smoke had smoked their dad. Right. They give Sammy a guitar that they say is Charlie Patton's guitar, but then at the end of the movie you find out it was actually just their dad's guitar.
Yeah, Smoke was the one that tells them like that was just our dad's guitar. So Stack was the one that told him. I guess like it was like way before, like when they gave it to him. He was like, "Yeah, by the way, this is Charlie Patton." So I don't know who Charlie Patton is. I don't.
Oh, let's do a little Googling, shall we? An American Delta blues musician and songwriter, considered by many to be the father of the Delta blues. And the Delta is obviously the area we're dealing with in this movie, so that makes a lot of sense. And dude, and blues music is, again, we said music is the driving force in this movie. It's specifically blues.
Yes.
Which is it's a really cool element to the entire thing that gives you a greater appreciation for it. So I've always loved blues. You just don't get that much of it.
You don't, you really don't. And like, honestly, I feel like this gave me like more awareness to the genre, because like, again, like I don't know much about that.
Let me rephrase. White people don't get much of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yes. We don't get much blues, man. So like the times I've been exposed to live blues, because there's a difference. Live, the shit hits. It was like in New Orleans.
Right.
Like I've seen live blues in New Orleans, maybe once in Austin, maybe like shit-faced wandered in somewhere on 6th Street, but it's not super prevalent in white culture.
Even though we kind of stole it.
100%, which is like a huge part of you get the impression that that's part of what this movie is touching on too, right? But yeah, so their whole plan is to put together this juke joint that they just, they bought this warehouse from this fucking KKK guy, and they're going to put together a band. They start recruiting people. That's a big part of that first 45 minutes. They're recruiting band members, singers, his baby mama for, she's going to be the cook. She's going to make the food.
They get that Asian couple to like also like they like make the sign and also just like help
working there.
Yeah.
Putting the shit together.
Which I also like love that they kind of like made it seem like they had like a strong relationship.
Yeah.
So like I love that. Honestly, that whole scene where like Smoke tells that girl to like, watch the truck for him. He goes inside. He starts like haggling, and he comes out, shoots the two. Like I thought
shoots that dude in his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick.
Can't. What does he say? He's like, can't let people know that someone
you almost robbed the Smokestack twins
without having something to show for
without
it.
a limp. Yeah. Without at least a limp.
Yeah.
That was it's funny as shit how the guy shot in the ass is like somebody he actually knew too. He's like, I thought she was lying.
And that's like they brought up a lot like, oh, I didn't know you were back in town.
They had a reputation.
Yeah, they had a
reputation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he even says at one point, he's like, 7 years is not long enough for people to forget about us. Mm-hmm. So like they've been gone in Chicago or elsewhere, not in Clarksdale, for 7 years.
They also served in
the military.
Yeah, World War I.
Right. I think. Wait.
Nah. They were in a
war.
They were in a war. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not historians.
No. We're movie buffs.
No, and there's depth to the characters in that way too that they sprinkle in, right? Like when he goes and meets, I guess his ex.
Mary? Are you talking about Stack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annie. When he goes, when he goes and meets Annie, and you start to pick up on like, that he goes and visits the grave of their child. Like there was history here. That was probably part of the reason he left.
Which I was so confused watching that the first time. I was like, whose grave is that? Because maybe I wasn't as locked in.
You're not supposed to know, really.
Yeah. But until later they mention it. But
it kind of like drips out.
Yeah.
The information does over the course of the movie, which again is like that's good storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just get all this shit up front.
Yeah. Just a lot of exposition.
That's not fun.
Yeah, no.
That's not fun at all.
Their whole life story now.
Yeah, so this is where they recruit Delta Slim as well.
Yeah. He's like at a train station just playing the harmonica.
He laughs
a little bit.
Laughs at Preacher Boy. He's like, what could you possibly know about the blues?
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'll show you. He's like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, and he crushes.
Yeah.
It's basically his audition.
Yeah.
We meet Mary, who clearly Stack had a relationship with, and she is fucking pissed.
Yeah, because he essentially left her.
Yeah.
Said, I loved you, and then just dipped the next day.
Bounced.
And you also meet Perline here as well.
Who has a husband.
Who has a husband. Now, I think Mary has a husband too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
A white man
in
like
you're
Arkansas
right.
or something.
Yeah, and it sounds like he like set her up with that relationship.
Yeah.
As part of it, I guess it was his thought was that he was protecting her.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, I just want to protect you.
Make sure you were safe. Make sure you had a good life. Whatever.
Yeah.
You were never going to have that with me because I'm a gangster.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. But again, a lot of depth laid out here. Before it gets into like the more simplistic like vampires are attacking the fucking community thing.
Yeah.
You get to know all these characters in a way that, like you said earlier, attaches you to them. So you actually are concerned for the people that are in this situation, which fucking frankly makes it pretty devastating when every single one of them dies.
I know.
Every single one of these fucking people, except for Sammy, ends up dead as hell. The reveal when you when they get everybody out of the juke, they're like, get the fuck out of here, like go home.
Oh, when shit has
hit the fan.
Yeah.
The reveal that everyone they sent out is now part of the vampire horde was a kick in the teeth, dude. I was like, fuck, man.
Damn,
every one of them, none of them got away.
A Saturday night, they just wanted to blow off some steam, drink some beer, listen to some blues, just sweat a little bit, just have a good night, and then
listen to some bangers, jam out.
Listen to some bangers.
Maybe do some banging.
Yeah, no, they had that storage closet that was primed for fucking.
That's what it was for, dude. What else? So
yeah.
Oh, okay. So we jump over to this scene where this white dude, Remick, knocks on the door of this house, right? And he's like, you got to help me.
Yeah.
The Choctaw are chasing me down. They like tried to rob me or they lied to me or some shit. He's blaming the Indians.
And he has like, I don't know, he looks like pretty
looks like he got fucked up.
Yeah.
Like they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, beat the shit. He's like burned.
Actually, yeah, when he comes out of the field, there is literally like smoke coming off his body, which what I took from that was like, okay, this is some kind of supernatural character. This is probably a vampire because I knew there were vampires going in, right? But like, yeah, they were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Because the Choctaw end up coming to this door and being like, yo, do you have a guy in there? Has anybody come through here? Because he is not who he says he is, and we are trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So maybe they were just in the process of eliminating Remick.
Right.
With whatever means, you
know? But
it
also, like, I mean, it's still lied out, too.
Oh, yeah, that could have been it. It was just the sun burning his ass?
Yeah, but, like, they were also, like, chasing him. I don't know if he was, like, in some, like, fucking cave or something. Like, the Choctaw knew where he was at.
Right.
And, like,
but he's being hunted.
Yeah. And then they never, like, you never see it, but, like, obviously, like, vampire lore, like, they can turn into bats. And, like, when he first, like, comes on the screen, he, like, kind of jumps down. So I don't know if he was, like...
He, like, shoots out of that. Yeah. Shoots into the frame.
Yeah. So I don't know if he was, like...
In bat form.
And then, like, he saw the house. He's like, all right, I'm, like, safe now. So I can, like... Well, obviously, you can't show up as a fucking bat.
No, that would... that wouldn't work. That would freak people out.
Yeah. But, yeah, I wasn't sure, like... it was just weird, like how he just like came on the screen like that.
No, I think that's what makes it so cool. Is there's not an explanation.
No, they really don't go into the vampire lore a whole lot, or like the.
One thing they make very clear is that they are operating by the True Blood and What We Do in the Shadows vampire rules. That you cannot enter a property without asking. Permission.
Yeah, you have to be invited.
You have to be invited in.
Yeah.
That's the one vampire rule that they clearly stick to. Yeah. That in the sunlight. They can't be in the sunlight.
Right.
But there is no explanation for this dude like shooting into that frame, going up to this house, which ends up being related to the KKK guy.
Yeah, the guy in the house, he's like the nephew of the Grand Dragon.
The Grand Dragon. There's a
Remick sees like the KKK.
The Kanye West outfit in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeezy season 9.
Yeah.
But that whole scene was really cool. It was cool that they bring some Native American presence into this. The Choctaw is part of it as well. Because again, the movie is focused on this one area of the South, but it is like it brings
There's
it,
a lot
makes
of, like,
it this like American cultural
like represented in this
melting
film.
pot.
Yeah.
You've got the Asians, you've got the Native Americans, you've got blacks,
You got the Irish,
the white vampires. Yeah, it was really cool the way that was done. So that's when we get introduced to this vampire situation.
Yeah.
Remick being sort of our big bad. Like it seems like he's solo because he builds his team out from there.
right?
Turns these two idiots,
Yeah,
two racist fucks who answered this door, into vampires with him. And then eventually we see them show up to the juke, right? But from that scene, we bounce over to them like building out the juke.
yeah,
And we get this. There's probably my favorite scene in the movie that references.
it's a lot of people's favorite scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievably
Yeah.
good, unbelievably well
and this
done.
is another scene where it changes the aspect ratio. Yeah,
And it brings that initial opening monologue to fruition because you've got blues actively going with Preacher Boy using the pipes. Electric guitar pops up, so there's almost like a fucking. It reminded me of oh my god, what like Lenny Kravitz looking dude like pops up just shredding electric guitar.
yeah,
There's a DJ.
yeah. I love the DJ who's like, "No shit, Preacher Boy."
Yes.
Like, hell yeah.
That's a great line. There's like old African music.
Yeah. You got B-boys, you got girls twerking.
Dude.
It was great.
Yeah, just the full evolution
Yeah.
of like black music.
Yeah.
And
it's all done in one shot too.
Yes.
So it's just going around the juke joint and like they just like get all these like people that are there currently and then like the past and the future.
It's all melded together.
Yeah.
Um
You even get some Asian representation in there too.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was like one or two. Like there might have been like a ballerina or something, and like some like old like Asian dancer. I don't know the proper term.
It was I'm curious what you thought was when Remick and the two racists that he's turned into vampires first show up and they're like, "We're musicians.
Yeah.
Like, let us play you a little something. We'll see if you like it." Did you think that was supposed to come off as good? Or was it like making fun of white people music?
I love the song. I actually like enjoy the song. I think it might be like a natural.
It has to be. It
Song
has to be a real
yeah.
song. Let me put it this way. After watching the blues go very hard, by comparison, I was like, these vibes are weak.
Yeah.
Now, it is a cool song.
Yeah.
But I'm also white.
Yeah. But even Stack was vibing with it a little bit. He was kind of like nodding his head.
They were
He was
like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like,
These crackers can play.
But yeah, it was weak. Like it wasn't the same vibe.
Yeah, it's totally different, right?
Like they weren't. Yeah, that's not what they wanted at their.
But it brings in the whole like Irish folk music thing into the fold as well, just to speak to the melding pot of the United States, right, and everything we've had going on here culturally since our birth. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting parallel. I was like, this fucking weak ass white boy with this banjo compared to what was going on in there. Like, how would this even work? Like vibes wise, these things don't really mix that well, right?
And like, I mean, there's like multiple reasons why they don't get let in.
Oh yeah, clearly there's something off with these people.
Yeah,
for one.
And like, I mean,
well, and also they're trying. This is like it's a black party, man.
Yeah,
this is a community deal.
Yeah,
this is a community deal. These people all know each other.
Yeah,
There's just 3 random white folks come out of the woods, and they're like,
we don't know who you are. We don't know where you're from. We don't know who you, like, if you're with Klan or not.
But
Like, he even asked, he's like, are y'all with the Klan? And Remick says, sir. Like, he's like so
he's offended.
Even though he has 2 Klan members with him.
He literally just turned. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I was curious about that because there's the element to this, Preacher Boy's dad tells him, like, if you, what's the line? He says, you keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home. And given this, like, it's like this religious sort of almost like urban legend that, like, if you party, to put it in simple terms.
If you sin.
If you party, if you rage, if you're a sinner.
Yeah.
Or if you associate with sinners, that opens you up to evil and opens you up to the devil. And Sammy obviously doesn't take that seriously. No. But what we end up finding out is, like, Remick is attracted to his music. Like, that's what brings these vampires.
Yeah, he heard his voice, and that's what brought him there.
Yeah. So it ends up, like, his dad was right. Like, Preacher was right.
Yeah.
And that was another interesting element to this thing, because there's a lot you can read into that, right? I mean, and Sammy's decision to not stay in Clarksdale at the end of the movie. And again, this is not one of those, there's no exposition to this. There's no, like, definitive judgment that the movie serves up. Like, you're left to sit with it and decide what you think. Like, was his dad right? Or, like, did it just happen to coincidentally play out this way? Or, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time, like, music's not bad.
No. Music's great. It's probably one of my favorite things besides movies. I love music.
Juke Joint seemed awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go to there.
And that's the thing with, like, especially back in the day, like, a lot of, like, churches would say, like, if it wasn't gospel music, it was devil music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
This is I feel like very recently we've gotten to a place where, like, what are non-religious people called?
Atheists?
Yeah, but no, that's like, that atheist is like if you straight up do not believe in God at all. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Don't worry about it. But the point is, the United States was a lot more Christian. A higher percentage of this country operated under Christian values and beliefs, some of which were very old school. Until the last 80 years, it kind of spiraled away from that. Now I feel like it's less of the culture. I know it's less of the culture than it used to be. So that kind of thought, that line of thought, that sort of judgment isn't as prevalent as it once was.
Right.
So let's see. Let's go through some of the plot here toward the back half of the movie. Remick, Joan, and Bert, those are the vampires. They show up to the juke. They try to get in. They get turned away. Preacher Boy ends up hooking up with
Pearline.
Finds her button.
Yep. Stack, it was like Stack and Sammy were in the car, and Stack was telling him basically
about the button.
Yeah, about the button, how to eat box.
The mythical clitoris. Gives him a little rundown there. Yeah.
And then, like, he comes to the door, because, I don't know, he was, like, looking for Sammy or something.
They're trying to find him because there was, like, a fight that broke out with some loaded dice.
Oh, no, that's later.
Oh, that was later?
Yeah, but, like, Stack.
Oh,
like,
you're right. That's
he comes to the door, he's like, oh, he found the button.
Yeah. He can hear her moaning.
And he tells Grace to come to the door, too. He's like, hey, listen to this.
Yeah. You got to share the horniness, dude. Spread the love. Mary ends up being like, let me go see what the deal is with these white folks.
Yeah, and this is the part where she's the one that figures out that they stole from the Italians and the Irish.
Right.
And they obviously need money. And they said they have, like, money to spend. So she's like, let me just go see.
Yeah, that's a very important note. They have talked about the finances of the juke joint. They're like, we've got enough to last, like, I think they say a month or 2 months,
yeah.
And then we're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
The finances of this setup they have created aren't working for the reason we discussed earlier. These different currencies that are used in this local area.
Yeah.
They don't see those as helpful. And they're not bringing in a ton of dollars. And these 3 white fuckers who showed up tell them, like, we've got good money that spends, right? So she volunteers to go and talk to them because she's, like, racially ambiguous.
Yeah.
And she gets out there, and they're like sitting on a rock or like a.
Yeah, they're just playing.
They're just chilling.
They're just playing some music,
playing that Irish jig music that they've got going on. And it's a huge bummer because she gets turned as a result of this.
Yeah,
this happens so fast. Like that's why I compare it to. What movie did I bring up earlier that it's kind of... From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Because From Dusk Till Dawn is like a normal story where you're like, all right, we're following these guys and there's normal shit happening. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere it becomes a vampire movie. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's the way this happens, basically. Where and you're like, you like Mary, you're rooting for Mary, and all of a sudden Mary is gone. Becomes a vamp, is a bad guy. So she gets bit, but you don't know it yet. Right? She comes back, takes Stack into that storage closet.
Yep. Fuck closet, yeah.
Spits in his mouth.
Yeah, you want some drool? Oh my god, that was a very horny scene.
She's drooling like crazy. He's like, babe.
And like right before, like Remick was drooling.
Yeah, something
that's what like really like. It's like you're fucking weird. Like I'm gonna head back now.
Right. So I guess the vamps drool when they're like close to victims that they want to eat. You know.
I guess yeah.
Like if you're staring at delicious food and you were starving, you might drool a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, she's like, you want some? Spits in his mouth.
Think she asked Josh Allen that.
They start getting it on.
Yeah.
And then
this is when shit really hits the fan because you got Pearline. She's jamming out now. She's doing like the stomp and stuff.
Killing
that's
it
when
up
you
there.
get the dice thing.
The loaded dice fight.
Yeah. And again, they're just like stomping on that dude.
Beating
the shit out of him.
ass. Yeah.
And
he like sliced this other dude like straight up across his face.
Yeah.
Massive scar gonna be there. Yeah.
So like you could feel that tension building. Like
and the
you knew
intensity.
like it's coming to that crescendo. Shit's about to hit the fan.
So when they get in, or I think, okay, so which one is with Mary?
Stack.
So Stack is in there. Smoke tells Sammy to go get Stack. Sammy walks in and is like, whoop, my bad.
They're fucking, yeah.
Goes back and tells him like, hey, sorry, I'm not intruding on this.
He's like, I don't give a shit. Fucking go get him. And then they all go. And then
she gets up.
She's going to town on him.
She has been eating this dude's neck.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sure he was going to be turned. I thought maybe she just like straight up killed him because she went so hard on his neck or something. But she gets up and like does the fucking vampire sprint out the building.
Yeah, Smoke puts like a whole clip in her. She's fine.
She laughs it off.
Yeah.
And then bails.
Yeah.
Which was interesting just because like in semantics wise, I was like, why wouldn't she just stay in there and kill every single one of these people?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? There's two moments where I had this question. This is one of them where Mary runs out. And there's another one when Grace, the Asian lady, invites the vampires in.
Oh, yeah.
And they are whooping ass and taking over the juke. And then all of a sudden they stop.
Yeah.
And they leave and let these people kind of regroup. And I was like, huh, what happened there?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. It was a couple of moments where I was like, I feel like there was depth to this that I may have missed. It's not all that important. I'm just flagging those two moments. So what else? Cornbread.
Cornbread.
Who was basically the bouncer.
Yep. Worst bouncer ever.
Leaves to take a piss, which he then claims also turned into a shit. But of course we know.
Yeah.
Actually, they turned him too.
Yeah. His thought, like, I don't know why he didn't just go like right around the corner, like literally just
4 feet from where he was.
It's not like there's fucking windows there. Like he would have been fine.
Nah.
But he had to go into the woods.
Wandered off.
And I love this part too because they're like whispering at him, like, "Hey, is that cornbread? Psst, hey, cornbread."
Yeah.
That's great too. And then I thought
creepy.
I thought it was gonna be like a jump scare moment, but like it ended up.
No, they leave you not getting to see it.
Yeah.
At all. But he comes back turned, can't come in without an invite, which they're very suspicious of.
Yeah, he's being super weird.
They're like, dude, you've been coming in and out all night.
Yeah.
Why would you need us to invite you in now? And they get into all this mythical shit where like, again, one of their exes, Annie, is like super familiar. She calls them something else at first.
A haint, which I wasn't familiar with.
She suspects that these are haints.
Yeah.
And then she ends up eventually being like, holy shit, they're vampires.
Yeah.
But all that voodoo Louisiana Bayou stuff plays a really important role here because they need somebody that's got information about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was one of my reads, having watched it once, front to back. Which one gets turned, Stack or Smoke?
Stack.
When Stack attacks Smoke, and at one point he's on top of him, and he's trying to go in and bite him, but it seems like there's something stopping him from doing that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's this necklace that she gave him that has garlic on it that protects him in that moment.
Okay. I thought it was just like him kind of fighting the urge to like do this to his brother, but like also it's like obviously like they want them all to be together. Like that's kind of like their point.
So
but
there's
like,
a point later where he like rips the necklace off.
I did not think about that.
And I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So like her voodoo shit literally kept him alive for longer. Anyway. But yeah, so Cornbread attacks Smoke. They like fight him off.
Yeah, he's like, they won't let him back in, but he's like, all right, well, at least give me my money. And he does this. He does like, he keeps his arm real close to him, and Smoke doesn't know anybody. He's like, hands it to him, and
grabs his arm, pulls him out.
Yeah.
Almost gets him.
Yeah.
His whole face is like, wait, what is it? What I'm trying to think. He comes back looking relatively normal at first, Cornbread, right?
Oh yeah, he's fine.
They
like,
can't
he probably
tell the
like
difference.
it's probably like on the
like Mary
the
back scratch type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then don't they blow his face to hell?
Oh yeah, Smoke puts one right in his face, and he's
the rest of the movie
he's like all fucked in the face. Yeah,
very messed up. Yeah. Anyway, the full-blown fight breaks out. Like I said, Grace invites the vampires in. Stack wakes up. He's been turned into a vampire, but he's locked in that room. Like tries to talk his way out.
Yeah.
Almost stabs Sammy in the face with a knife through the door.
Yeah, then Smoke like goes through that same hole. Just like I'm like, dude, she just put a knife through there.
Yeah,
like, I would not put my eye up.
Why are you looking through here at all?
But yeah, this is when Annie realizes that they're dealing with vampires because she grabs like she had pickled garlics. She threw
pickled
the
garlic jar, throws the water on him.
Yeah,
burns him, and he bails.
Yeah,
runs off. Yeah. And then we see that Remick is basically leading like a hoedown out in this field.
Another great scene. I love this scene.
This is such a good one.
The song was a banger too.
Yes.
And
he's doing the full-blown like crazy feet jig. Yeah, dude, that was sick.
Yeah, and fucking Stack and Cornbread were going crazy to this song.
Yes.
Like I love their
Mary's out there too.
Yeah, the whole the whole juke joint for the most part is out there already.
And the whole thing climaxes with, like I said, they get in, a huge fight breaks out. They've prepared, so they've got stakes.
Yeah. Once they figure out we're dealing with vampires, like we need wooden stakes.
Something else.
Garlic. Yeah.
They all drink or eat some garlic as well.
I love this scene. It reminded me of The Thing, when like they're testing the blood. Have you seen The Thing?
Not in 20 years.
Oh, well, there's this scene where like the group that's left, they're trying to see who the Thing is, and they like test the blood with like, I don't know, like heat or something, or they like get a needle hot and like stick it in the blood, and if it boils up, then it's the Thing. And it kind of reminded me of that scene. Obviously, it plays a little differently, but like I thought that was like an interesting little thing I found. But
yeah, it was a fun build-up scene before like the final climax or whatever here, when they prep for this whole deal. But like, yeah, like I said, pretty much everybody fucking dies, with the exception of Smoke. Smoke didn't get turned, right?
He did not get turned.
So he survives this.
Yeah.
Sammy faces off with Remick in the pond. Ends up winning.
Yep.
Does he put the guitar through him?
Yeah, he
smashes the guitar into his
like
neck. The drum gets
the metal part of it. Yeah, it gets stuck in his head.
It's gnarly.
Yeah.
All the other vampires are like cheering him on.
Yeah. And then that happens. They can all feel.
Oh yeah, they figure out that the main vampire who has turned the rest of them like has an effect on them. But you can't just kill the main one. You have to kill all of them individually.
Which is like, I think What We Do in the Shadows. Do they? Because that was like
That's definitely a plot line in like both the things I referenced earlier, True Blood and What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
I want to say in True Blood, if you kill the master, everyone he's turned dies too.
Yeah,
but then
I think
What We Do in the Shadows,
I think they say it's not. Well, they believe that, but then it ends up not being true.
It ends up being bullshit or something like that. Yeah. And then Smoke goes and loads up a fuckload of guns and ammunition and basically preps this entire warehouse knowing that the clan guys are going to come.
Yeah, because all the vampires share like a hive mind. Remick knows the nephew of the Grand Dragon, and because Stack is turned, he's like, yeah, they're going to come here the next day and kill all of us.
Oh, right.
And so that's how he knows to like, all right, now that we dealt with the vampires, now we got to deal with the KKK.
And that he does.
And that he does. He smokes them.
Yeah.
He smokes them.
It's an awesome shootout.
Yep.
Fills the Grand Dragon with about 50 bullets.
Yep.
Which was a very Inglourious Bastards-esque ending there. Just like just killing historically evil figures is super fun.
Yeah.
Like you've seen Inglourious Bastards at the end where they shoot up Hitler.
Yeah.
Like 2 machine guns
just
nonstop shred his entire body. He obviously dies. Smoke ends up passing away here, but it's like a cool scene where he sees Annie and their baby, and he hears her cry, the baby's cry at one point. It kind of teared me up, dude.
Yeah.
Which was weird to go from like vampire violence and all this crazy, unrealistic, not rooted in reality shit to like this very emotional moment where you're losing your other main character here.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it was an emotional roller coaster in some ways, this movie. Sammy goes back, sees his dad. His dad's telling him to drop the guitar. We see that he didn't drop the guitar. He's driving away from the community and like, I assume going to chase the dream. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you didn't watch the post-credit scene. Did you know there was a post-credit scene?
No.
There's actually 2, but there's one that's like actually you should watch.
What?
Yeah.
No shit. Oh fuck.
And it yeah, I mean I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, it takes place in the future. So
okay. So I've got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it all.
Yeah. You watched the whole movie.
Wait, what do you mean there's 2?
So there's like, it's like after like the initial like.
God damn it! Now I'm remembering seeing. Make sure you stay for the post-credit scene on Twitter. I totally forgot.
Yeah. So like the first post-credit scene is like important to the story. The second one is just Sammy like playing the guitar like in the church. So if you want to stay for that, like you could.
All right. Shit.
Yeah.
And that was Sinners.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts here? I've got some final thoughts.
Yeah, one question for you. So when Grace decides she's going to let the vampires in, do you think she was right or wrong in doing that?
Well, clearly she was wrong. I mean, I get it, like why she was driven to that moment.
Yeah.
But that still sucked. They hadn't agreed to that.
Yeah.
You know?
But like, I mean, if she doesn't do that, do they go and turn the whole town into vampires? Like, are they gonna go and get her daughter?
Oh, it's a fair question.
Yeah,
that was the threat, right? They were like, oh, unfortunately I now know everything that your husband did, so I know where your daughter is and I'll go get her.
Yeah,
so you're probably right. This probably did end up being the right move because it spares the rest of the people in Clarksdale having to deal with these fucking vamps.
This was a hot button issue on Twitter. Yeah, a lot of conversation around this.
I could see that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Delta Slim?
Yeah.
Sick death for him.
Yeah.
Where he just basically slits his wrist and is like spraying blood everywhere. He's like, come get me, fuckers.
Yeah.
Did he light himself on fire?
No, that's great. She gets like the Molotov.
Oh, yeah.
Throws it at Remick, but he like hits it off to the side. It like catches the door on fire. And then Grace ends up killing her husband, but they both catch on fire.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, that was fucked. And then Annie, she gets bit, and then Smoke is the one that has to.
They'd already had that conversation.
Yeah, you gotta
take me out.
Yeah, so her soul can
move on.
Yeah.
Find their ancestors. Not get stuck.
Yeah.
That was cool. A lot of spirituality to this movie.
There's just so many layers, and I think again that's
what makes it super fun.
Yeah.
And it's like you want to go when you go to a movie theater, you want to have an experience, man.
Yeah.
You want layered shit. Entertaining. You know? As somebody, I like a lot of dark stuff where like there doesn't seem to be a whole bunch more point to it other than the darkness.
Right.
We need more of this coming out of Hollywood. Like well-rounded entertainment. With musical aspects, historical context, emotional stuff, bunch of characters you get into.
So some comedy sprinkled in throughout.
Good laughs.
Yeah.
Good scary shit. Kind of had a little bit of everything.
Really did.
Sinners.
Yeah.
Which is why classifying it as horror feels a little wrong to me. It's like it's kind of genre bending.
It really,
and mixing. But we need more of this. We need more original stories told through talented creatives with great casts, and it is showing in the box office. This thing has made over $350 million now worldwide. $90 million budget. That's great success. I already told y'all where it's ranked among the all-time horror movies. Highest grossing original film in 15 years.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, I wish it was saying that. I wish that said more. But there aren't that many original movies that come out anymore, so it's less of a statement than it should be.
Dude, and now like because there's that's so much success, people want like sequels and all this.
Dude, and speaking of that, first of all, no, you got to leave it alone.
Yeah.
I hate that they feel that studios push for that every time there's a success. Like, make another one. It's like, God damn it, just no, go make another something.
Yeah.
Like, Coogler should have a blank check for his next movie, but it shouldn't be this again. No. Let him go do something else.
And people brought up like, oh, we should see like the Smokestack Twins like in Chicago, or like a movie about the Choctaw vampire hunters. I'm like, those could be like ideas for money. It doesn't have to be the Smokehouse Twins like doing shit in the Al Capone era of Chicago, or those specific Choctaw Indian vampire hunters. It could like they could be like its own things. It doesn't need to be tied to this universe.
Yeah, and I get it. I get the urge, and those are two great examples of like, yeah, okay, I could see those being good stories.
Yeah.
But then you're doing something to the original story.
Right.
You're filling in the blank spaces that otherwise your mind gets to occupy with its own imagination. And I think it's more fun to not have the detail.
We don't need every single detail. We don't need to know like how Remick got turned.
No, it's more fun to sort of have those questions unanswered, have that history left to itself. And yeah, like I don't need that, man.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I'd rather he go make something else original. But this, I mean, it's rare that I leave a movie and I'm like, fuck, I wish it was longer. Like they could have tacked another 30 minutes onto this and I would have been very happy. And
well, it is a little longer because you haven't seen all
I guess I haven't seen it all yet. So yeah, fuck, I'll see how long this end credits scene is before I judge it fully. But great shit, man. It's hard to have that much hype and live up to it, and it, like I said, it pretty much did.
Yeah.
Might have kept me from scoring it slightly higher, giving it the full 5 that you did, but I loved this. It was really fun, even at home. And another downside being that, God, I was like, I wish I was in a theater right now because this is such a movie theater friendly movie. Like, it elevates the experience massively, no doubt. But yeah, great shit.
Great shit.
Great movie. Highly recommend it. Good fun. Holler at us on social media if you want to further discuss it with us. At Kade Orris is Cade's handle on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at WR Bolen. Shit, if you're in the Mollusk Militia and you've seen this and you've got further points or other things you want us to discuss, hit the hotline and we'll dive into those calls next week on Patreon along with other things that we talk about on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles next week. Taking a break this week. No Patreon episode while Barrett is out. I had some scheduling issues this week as well, so we'll be back on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles next week. I believe we will also be back with a public ad-based episode. Cade and I will need to figure out what we want to talk about next, but this felt like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
When Cade texted me and was like, what about Sinners? I was like, oh, well, you've seen it twice in theaters already. So yeah, I can, and that it was available on demand at home now, so I was like, I can fucking make that work, absolutely. Any last words, Cade?
Nope, I'm all good. All good.
Thank you all for being here with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're on YouTube. And until next time, remember, you keep dancing with the devil. One day, he's going to follow you home.